Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to crack a fundamental code in math. I'm talking about something that unlocks so much of algebra, the distributive law, and you guessed it, the FOIL method. To kick things off, let's solve a little puzzle. I like to call it the apple bag mystery. So look at this. You've got 3 bags. Now here's the tricky part. We don't know exactly how many apples are in them. We just know that each bag has, let's say, x plus 2 apples. So how many apples do you really have in total? So, if we translate that little story into math speak, it looks just like this. 3 times the quantity x plus 2. That number 3 on the outside, that's our multiplier. And trust me, it's about to have a big effect on everything happening inside those parentheses.
Okay, so how do we tackle this? Now, you might be tempted to just multiply the 3 by the x and call it a day, but nope, you can't do that. That 3 has to shake hands with every single thing inside. So our first move, as you can see, is to multiply that 3 by the x. But we're not done yet. What about that poor little 2? The 3 has to multiply the 2 as well. So let's break it down. 3 times x gives us 3x, and 3 times 2 gives us 6. Put it all together, and you get 3x plus 6. That's our grand total of apples. Boom, mystery solved. The key thing to remember here, really, is this idea of fairness. Just think about it for a second. If you only multiplied the 3 by the x, that 2 would be totally left out, right? That's not fair. To get the right answer, every single thing inside that group has to get its fair share of what's on the outside. And you know what? This rule of fairness actually has a fancy official name. It's called the distributive law. And it makes perfect sense, right? You're literally distributing the number on the outside to every single term on the inside. This isn't just a random trick. It's one of the bedrock rules that makes all of algebra tick. Okay, let's switch gears for a second. I've got a great analogy that's going to make this whole thing click and be way easier to remember. Picture this. The number outside the parentheses, that's the teacher. And all the terms inside, in our case, the x and the 2, well, they're the students sitting in the classroom. Now, when the teacher hands out a worksheet, do they just give one to the first student and stop? No way. A good teacher makes sure every single student gets a worksheet. And that, my friends, is exactly what distribution is all about. Okay, so you've totally got the basic distributive law down. I'd say you're ready to level up. Let's see what happens when we dial up the complexity just a little bit. So take a look here. On the left, that's what we just did. One number multiplying one group. Pretty straightforward. But look at the right. Whoa! Now we've got 2 groups, what we call binomials, multiplying each other. It's kind of like having 2 separate classrooms that now need to interact. Our simple teacher and student story, well, it's not quite going to cut it for this one. Yeah, for a bigger expression like this, we're going to need a special tool. Now, it's not a brand new math rule or anything. Think of it more like a checklist, a system to make absolutely sure we don't miss a single step.
And here it is. Meet your new best friend, FOIL. It's just a simple acronym that lays out a 4-step game plan. F stands for multiplying the first terms in each group. O is for the outer terms. I is for the inner terms, and L, you guessed it, is for the last terms. See? It's really just the distributive law again, but all wrapped up in a super neat and easy to remember package.
All right, let's wrap this all up. What have we learned? The big thing is that these aren't just some random rules you have to memorize for a test. Think of them as your new math superpowers, tools that let you tackle these problems with total confidence. So let's do a quick recap. The big takeaway? The distributive law is really all about fairness. That number on the outside has to multiply times every single term on the inside. And for those bigger problems with 2 groups, FOIL is going to be your guide. It's an awesome shortcut so you never miss a step. Remember, the whole point of these tools is to make your life in math a whole lot easier, not more complicated. And that brings us to one final interesting thought. We just cracked the code on the distributive law and FOIL, and when you boil it down, they're just really clever ways to keep our multiplication organized. It makes you wonder, right, what other kinds of patterns, what other incredible shortcuts are just hiding there in plain sight, waiting for us to find them in the world of math? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me today.